George Poteet unfortunately passed away a few weeks back, and just an icon with land speed racing. I mean, I don't know how many records he has. I mean, multiple land speed cars. I mean, everybody knows his cars, and just an incredible guy, an incredible human being. And years ago, this is when we very first were getting ready to start YouTube. There was no SICTA magazine. Obviously I was drag racing, but Clay Milliken hooked me up to go check out his collection, and went and checked the collection out. I mean, hundreds of cars that this guy had on his property that George did. And we were checking all that stuff out. I didn't know I would get to see him that day, and then George showed up. And we were able to sit and talk for a little while, and just talk about the different forms of race, like what I do versus, I mean, land speed racing. And great conversation, great guy. And even years after that, or time after that, we talked about obviously getting together to do a more formal interview and talk more about it, and possibly use one of his cars to help make licensing runs, because I do have a desire for land speed racing. And I mean, he has some slower cars besides just his fast cars. So it just never happened. Life's short, and I mean, the day never happened. And when he passed away, I heard he's down to like 30 or less cars from the collection there was even when I was there roughly 4 years ago. So we're gonna basically give this interview to you, or this walkthrough. The sound isn't the best, and but pretty much raw. We're gonna give it to you because, I mean, the content can't be done again. Like, we can't go make a better video of it. We can't see this collection again. Most of it was sold off before he even passed away, and obviously we can't interview George. I mean, and it's just, it shows you how short life is, and that every moment counts. And I just wish we would have got back there to sit down with him again and go through stuff, and wish that I could have watched him run the last time at Bonneville. I mean, just so many woulda, coulda, shouldas. So I can tell the audio's not going to be great. It might be hard to hear the interview. I mean, I'm sorry, it's 4 years ago. I mean, and we're just going to give you, like I said, that raw footage so that you can see the collection that we saw. Also listen to George. I mean, in the stories that he told us and what we talked about. I mean, just, we dug this up. I mean, it was stuff that we never were going to use because we were going to go redo it. Well, that day didn't come, so I would rather let you see the kind of man that he was, and just that, such a great guy. I mean, in this interview, I believe he was out shopping or whatever, and he just walked in and just started talking to us. And it was an awesome experience, and I'll never forget the day that I spent checking out George's collection. So enjoy the video, and yeah, look up other stuff about George and his cars and everything, because it's just iconic. And I hear that possibly Wayne Jessel is going to run his race program, so that will still be alive and well, like, or will continue on after his untimely death, or timely death. He was old, so I mean, no shame in that. But I mean, he was still racing as of just a year or two ago. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe to the channel, and hey, let us know what you think about the interview with George. You ever follow Drag Week?
Huh?
You ever follow Drag Week?
A little bit.
He's the fastest man at Drag Week, Tom Bailey.
And what do you drive?
69 Camaro. 599 at 250 mile per hour. In a quarter.
Was that your average?
So for you, that's just a warm-up pass. But for you, that's a warm-up pass. For me, that's getting up there.
What is that, turbo?
So yeah, twin turbo. Yep, SMX.
How many?
2 of them.
Two.
So,
How big a turbo?
so right now it's got 108s on it, but like that was with 98s.
2 108s?
Yep.
What kind of boost you running?
So we've been up to 70 pounds.
70?
Yep.
You can keep the damn heads and pistons in something with 70 pounds of boost.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
running 6 seconds. They're not like you.
We've tried to run 55 pounds of boost for 12 seconds. We have a hard time keeping our head gaskets in. Oil pan gaskets and things. biggest problem we have is down valve cover gases blowing out and catching
Just
on
with too much
fire.
pressure.
You ever catch on fire?
Yeah, my car's actually melted down right now. Gainesville, I did the Gator Nationals and doing exhibition runs. Sprayed fuel all over.
Ooh.
So yeah, it came out. It came out like a second into the run. I pedaled it. It sneezed. I pedaled it and got back into it, and that's when the O-ring blew out. I do 3 injectors per cylinder, so that killed that cylinder because it leaned it out because now that injector didn't supply fuel. Well, I pedaled and got back into it, so the whole time I get back into it and it starts to accelerate again. Well, I'm just spraying 150 base fuel pressure, methanol all over everything. Well, then down the track further, it sneezed again. Then I'm like, it's done or whatever. And I saw the fire coming in the passenger door, and I thought it was just a header fire or something and I see the safety fire there, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll just pull over. They can just blow this out. So I'm just pretty casual about the whole thing or whatever, that get to a stop. And then all of a sudden I see the windshield in front of me starting to curdle, and I'm like, oh, I think this might be a real fire. I should probably get the hell out of this thing. So
Yeah, I caught on fire last year pretty bad out there. We burned a piston, and I got stopped. Hell, it take me 5 miles to get stopped though. And I asked the kid that was there, trying to put it out. I said, I need to get out now. He said, yeah, you need to get out.
Yep. No, and that's the thing. It's like, because we did a whole video, like we had 2 in-car cameras and everything with it, and everybody's like, well, you weren't panicked, and why didn't you pull the fire system and all this? It's like this is my 6th time being on fire. The first time I pulled the fire system, and like one of the other times I pulled the fire system, and now it's like I just go through my routine. I know I have the right gear on, so I can get, as long as I get out of there decently quick, then I'm fine.
Well, mine's always behind me, so I don't even know it. And
Okay.
when you get stopped, and we've got our cockpit sealed really good. I don't hardly ever even get any smoke in them, man. And we melted every damn thing last year. Well, that fire had all the wiring harness and hoses and top of the transmission off of it and all that. But I never even got any smoke in the cockpit.
Oh, nice.
Man.
Yep.
Do you wear any kind of fresh air system in your helmet?
No, but I am thinking about going to it just in case.
Damn, I tried it last year. It's impossible to. I can't wear a damn skirt down here. I just can't breathe, and I made one pass with it and said, take it out. I ain't wearing that shit.
Okay, so it doesn't just activate if you need it. That's always on. That is your air, or
Yeah.
okay.
I can't get any fresh air in my cockpit till I get. Well, I can pull the cockpit about 70, 80 miles an hour. It flops forward like a sliding forward like a airplane cockpit does. But I fear a fire more than I do anything. That and a blown tire, tire.
Oh, yeah,
fade
blown
and
tires,
tires,
yeah.
all those things I really am afraid of. But the fire thing, I saw an old boy get burned really bad, but he got burned with that hot water where his radiator exploded. But it all came in on top of him, and steam came back up on him and burned his damn fingers off and everything, melted his hand to the steering wheel. But
Wow.
I don't look forward to a fire or a tire failure. Y'all don't really ever blow tires out where you're.
No, that's I've blown a front tire before with the car in the air or whatever, and it popped. So then when it came down, it was a little tricky for stopping. But
So do you run? You carry your fuel with you in a trailer or something?
yep.
They all
Well, we run pump gas on the street. So on the street, I just run pump gas.
93 octane.
Yeah, 87. Like, yep.
Put any booster in it?
So no, because I'm 11-to-1 compression, so it'll run fine without the boost, without the turbos running. And then at the track, I just switch a couple valves and switch over to the methanol and change to the methanol tune-up. And
11-to-1's pretty high for a turbo engine, though.
well, when you need all the boost and all the timing you can get, and you're trying to push the limit, you need a little extra. So.
Well, that's basically a pro mod car, ain't it?
Yep. Yeah, street legal pro mod. That's exactly what it is.
Well, those guys, hell, they can't make one pass. Those pro mod guys, I don't say you drive it 200 or 300 miles and then drag race it.
Yep. No, and that's when we did it. When we did it last year, that was the first 5-second pass on drag week. It was the last pass of the last day. So we already put 850 miles on the car, and it was a fresh engine that hadn't even been tested yet. That the first time we put street miles on it was on drag week. So that was in 19. So since then we refined it a little more.
I know you ain't this old, but I was around when the first drag race took place. Well, back then, that single turbocharged Chevrolet 6-cylinder engine was the fastest thing on the damn track. But we were running, I've done it once, but it was, damn carbureted engine and didn't even use nitro. Hell, I was like power tour. I mean, we won power tour and there wasn't 10 cars.
Right.
But y'all gone way beyond that. Do you do any local racing or just the drag week?
Nope, I do some local stuff. I raced a pro mod for Skinny Kid race cars. He has that Cutlass that
and they've already got a pro mod class now, don't they? What are those guys run?
So they've been down, I think they just set the record at like 5.6. That's first car in the 560s, wasn't it? 561 or something, I think.
Low 560s. Yeah.
Yep. So they're 560s. I've been 570. 577 is what I've been. We should have been like on the pass when we had the injector go out. That should have been a 560 pass at like 270. But
we all run a full quarter. You're not running 8 mile on it.
Yep.
Run a quarter.
Yep.
Think they'll ever go to an 8?
What's that?
Think they'll ever go to an 8 mile?
A lot of the smaller stuff, the local stuff, is 8 mile because
I know,
it's just
drag week. You think they'll ever go to 8 mile?
I don't know. Like, I mean, that's that thing. Like, it's like the whole thing is trending towards 8th mile with almost everything because, well, the same thing. You don't hurt any parts in the first mile. You hurt them the miles down.
Right.
It's the same thing. We don't
seldom have a problem first mile.
Yeah, we usually don't hurt parts in the first eighth. It's the second eighth that we usually hurt the parts. And that's when we transition from 45 pounds of boost to 70 pounds of boost. So.
Well, we end up trying to run, the peak of everything for about 10 seconds.
Which is insane. Like,
well, it is, when people try to run nitrous out there, and there's been one guy run nitrous out there on a big block engine. 2 times he did it, which we didn't figure you could ever do. I never could get a bottle big enough to last that long, but it's a long time to stay in a car, with 50 pounds of boost. But we're running just a little over 7-second miles. I'm doing 2-second quarter miles.
No, which is insane. Like,
I don't have much time to react to anything.
Yep. No, and that's I have a '69 Talladega that I did as like a full chassis car, but that's twin turbo Coyote deal, and I wanted to take it to Bonneville. Well, then Keith Turk told me, no, you can't. You'll ruin the car. Like, he said, you don't understand that salt gets in all the places that it is. You'll never get the salt out of there. Once it's a car built for that, that's just what it is.
Well, every kind of racing has its unique, things to it, and you can't hardly build a crossover car to do everything the way y'all do. Driving one on the street and drag racing it used to be impossible to do.
Right.
You could do it, but you wouldn't run fast.
Yep.
And you might not make the trip or run fast.
Right. No, and that's the part that like people have talked to me about it, and they're like worried about how fast they're going. I'm like, first you got to worry about being able to make it from track to track. That's the biggest problem, and then worry about going fast. So.
Do you get hired out in a super Chevy or anything ever?
No, once in a while there'll be like the the stuff like NHRA that I get to do the exhibition stuff, and we're supposed to do like 4 races with them, and then there's been different stuff that Holly puts on, like that kind of stuff. But my stuff.
I don't ever have any match races or anything like they used to have in the 60s and 70s.
Well, now that we're finally getting the car reliable, like to where it runs for more than a couple months, like now we've started to look at that and being able to do some of that stuff, to go back to those days when the snake and the mongoose type thing, like, hey, can we go there and run? Well, the problem is, like, we're faster than everybody else. So now it's like, okay, well, how do you set up a match race when you're faster? So
we had one of those guys from Oklahoma show up last year out at Bonneville with his car they run on that TV thing. He never got that car to 200 miles an hour. And basically, you can't run it for 5 miles like that. He tried to run them, street tires on it, wide tires and all that. I don't know. I wouldn't. I'd be afraid to drive a car like yours.
coming from that,
Them bunny cars, I wouldn't get in a bunny car. They burn a lot.
right? No, for sure.
How long have you owned your car?
This car I built it in 2015, 2.0.
Is it a steel-bodied car?
No, it's all carbon.
All glass?
Yep.
Carbon fiber?
Yeah, all carbon. Yep.
Fiber.
Yeah, the one before that, 1.0, that's that one's fiberglass. That one we've been 639 with before, and that's more of a proportionate 69 Camaro. I mean, it's definitely modified, but like that's more, you look at it and it's a 69 Camaro. 2.0 is a 69 Camaro in theory, but you look at it, it's a pro mod.
So you run 108 millimeter turbo. You use precision turbo?
Yep.
Whose computer do you use?
So Holly?
We use Motec.
Yep. Oh no, I know Shane really well. So Shane's a good buddy. So I'm actually working on a project that Shane's going to do the tuning on, and I'm going Motec just so that.
You know Kenny?
Yep. Yeah, I don't know Kenny real well, but I know from oh geez, I'm trying to think of the drag week guy. A buddy of mine that had with the 68 Camaro that had the Kenny Duttweiler.
Oh yeah.
Can't
remember his name.
With the small block one.
Y'all aren't. I mean, this looks like a funny car. You're not limited to stock-looking cars. Old Larson, he builds stock-looking cars. He kind of slipped some though, hadn't he?
Yep.
He's not the fastest guy on at the track anymore.
No, and that's the thing is like Larry, when I started, my first drag week was 2010. Well, that's when Larry ran the first 6-second pass with the Nova, and I remember there watching that pass going, that's insane. Like I would never do that. Like that's not. Fast forward 3 years and I got a car running 6s faster than his, but it just shows like how quickly things change and how you get used to things like as you continue to step it up. I mean, that's
Do the wipers work on it?
the wipers. Yeah, the Rain-X works.
I'm sure the air conditioning works.
Air conditioning works as long as you got the windows down.
Does Hot Rod, do they require y'all to wear SFI 20 suits in a car like that?
Yeah, well, yeah, you have to follow rules, and with the methanol, obviously you got to wear 20. So
Do y'all's helmets and things expire? Do y'all have to follow NHRA rules?
Yep. Yeah, everything gets teched or whatever when you get there, and then I'm big on the stuff like forever on my own accord because like I mean, as you know, there's plenty of places you go and people do not police that part of it very well. So I mean, you got to police that on your own, and that's the thing. I did a big safety video or whatever as a follow up to mine, a YouTube video for just on about the fire and about all the different things to try and get more people up to speed. Because I mean, I see the people running down the track just like this, and like guys, like you have to.
It tickles me to watch these guys on these street racing. They jump in a SF5 zip-up jacket and they're ready to race.
Yep, and that's the thing. You got to think of yourself, and I did the thing on the whole because like forever, and I thought the same thing is like SFI 5. I'm like, oh well, that's 5 layer, 15's 15 layer, 20's 20 layer. I mean, and then I learned that like no, that's not what it is. Like, and you just double the number, and that's how many seconds you can be on fire. without getting a second-degree burn. So like, just double it. If you're wearing a 1 suit, then that's 2 seconds. Like a 5 is 10 seconds, and a 15 is 30 seconds, and a 20 is 40 seconds. And that's the general rule with it. And it's like, okay, I'll take 40 seconds every day, no matter how hot a day it is.
Well, do you wear boots?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I wear the shoes, and then I put the boots over top. So, and I've always done that. They've got the 20 shoes, and I don't want any part of it because, to me, my ankle still shows. If I got a 20 boot on and 20 pants, well, where they come together, and I get in a car and bend my leg, all of a sudden you got a gap there. Like, so I always wear the over boots.
I know DJ Safety made me some boots with soles on them.
Oh, really?
And I don't have to wear a shoe under them. And they're a little more, you get a little bit better feel of the clutch and brake and accelerator. I'm wearing boots, they're like blank on boots. But it's hotter than hell when we're racing. I know it is for y'all too. They ain't no relief. Y'all probably sit in stadium lane longer than I do.
Yeah, sometimes, but when you are quicker, then you tend to get almost the express pass. So
That's true.
so you can avoid some of the commotion that everybody else goes through.
We have had a guy out there at FCTA that's been in the club out there forever. And he's lobbied and lobbied and lobbied that where we can go to the front of the line every day until 11 o'clock. And when I get suited up and buckled in, we're the next one to leave. It don't matter how many behind you. But you have to do it before 11 o'clock.
Okay.
If we get out there and make a record run at 7, we can get back in line and make another pass without having to wait in line or anything. But sometimes out there at Bonneville, there's a 4-hour wait to, just to get in, and you're supposed to suit up like, 4 cars back, which if any of them have any problem, you'd be sitting there damn 30, 45 minutes in that suit sitting in the car cramped in. But Ron has lobbied them to make rule changes for us. It's been real friendly to me.
Nice.
I like that 300-mile-an-hour line. But I don't know. I go to drag races, occasionally, but it's too many breakdowns, too many down times, and I can't see sitting in line the way y'all do to make a pass. It just takes too long. But
No, and I'm not a good spectator at drag racing. Like if I'm not racing, then I'm not very good at being there. But
well,
which is
NHRA, they get a lot of criticism, but they do a good job getting people down the track.
oh, without a doubt.
And these local tracks don't come near close to doing that.
No, and that's the thing is like if I would have done what I did at almost any other track other than NHRA track, then my car would have burnt to the ground before they did anything about it. Like,
Did you have to run pump gas on the street?
No, I mean you can
Put
run,
your own fuel in it.
Yep.
Or you run nitrous?
Your problem's just that if you got 300 miles to make it that day, that's a whole lot of fuel to carry in a trailer to.
Well, you don't get about 4 or 5 miles to a gallon, do you?
No, when we lean it out and everything, we get between 10 and 12 on the street. So.
Wow.
Yep. I mean.
We start out with 150-pound air pressure.
Wow.
And the tires still grow over 2 inches.
Really?
Yeah, they'll grow and suck in, and I had a tire spin on the rim last year about 6 inches at 450 miles an hour.
Jeez.
Got some tires hanging on the wall. I'll show you when we get in the other building. Spun for 5 miles.
I wish I were younger and enjoyed it like I used to. I've gotten too old to do it. I can't hardly get out of the damn car now. I've helped getting out of it. And, I'm laying in there at a 15-degree angle, so I'm looking at the sky when I'm laying in there just about. I don't have a lot of fun anymore.
Well, if you need anybody to warm it up for you, I mean, I'm happy to give you my number.
Bonneville is a unique experience, and that it's a challenge to. We have a very, very difficult time getting traction, just like y'all do. We're basically in a 5-mile drag race, And, you know, our 2.25 mile time is like their 60-foot time. You know, we can look at our time sheet at the 2.25 mile mark and see how fast we're going to end up on if everything keeps going the way it's supposed to. We,
So that's 2.25 miles. That's your
yeah,
gauge
that's
point.
where we get our first time at the 2.25 mile mark. And, you know, it's all based on, you know, how much power your push truck's got, you know, how quick you can get up to 100 miles an hour. Liberty, Craig Liberty built me a 7-speed transmission out. And I can go through the gears pretty quick. You know, with a 5-speed, you have such a gap between gears. We was dropping 1,800 RPM between shifts, and now we only drop about 1,000. You know, so the first 4 gears we got, I'm through them within first 400 yards.
Wow.
But we're in a drag race just like y'all are. You know, we don't cut a lot. We get to push when we want to, but we got to have a push truck and get us up to about 60 miles an hour pretty quick. I can pull away from the truck doing 45 to 60. And I'm pretty famous for putting it on the floor and never letting up. Well, the problem we have is we really don't have any testing. I have, and when we built this new car after I crashed that right there, we rented the course out there for 3 days, did some testing. I've been in the wind tunnel, I'm probably the only car out there that's been in a wind tunnel. And with Kenny and the computers is really what made us faster than anybody else. Kenny can give me different boosts and different horsepower at different spots on the race course. You know, we'll end up last mile and a half on about 3,500 horsepower, but starting off in the truck we'll push off about 1,800 horsepower, trying to keep them spinning the tires. But you're full throttle, full boost from the green light, from that last orange light.
Yep.
So you've never done any professional drag racing, it's all amateur though.
Yep. Yeah, it's all just
So are you going this year?
so. Oh yeah.
Last year, the passes I made out there, I made up my mind that I had to shift in the 7th gear by the 3.5 mile mark. And I got it in the 7th gear on the first pass that we went 470. I shifted in the 7th just as I went by the 3.5. But the second pass where I made that 480 pass, I shifted about 1/4 mile before the 3.5, and I had it in 7th gear good at the 3.5. But I'm not turning. I'm about 1,500 RPM lower than we want to be that you go through this finish like you said. If I'm in 7th gear doing 9,000 RPM, I'm doing 550 miles an hour.
Yep. There you go. Like.
But it feels good not to hit the wall that you're always pulling, but it makes you feel bad that you can't just run another mile or two.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Last year was really our first year with a big block. We went small blocks. We didn't think we'd get a big block on our frame rail.
Well, no, and that's when he said big block. I was surprised because I thought Kenny won't do a big block. I thought Kenny was against big blocks.
He didn't ever want to do one. He talked me into it though. We're in an LS out there, 462, and when Kenny smiled, we figured out a measure and we lowered it, got it lower than the small block, and I got a roll cage there, a frame that we didn't ever think we could get the head and the header inside, but they squeezed it in there, and Kenny, he did a good job on it. He had a good time doing it, and I made 11 passes with that engine out there. We burned a piston on Saturday and put a piston in it out there in a trailer.
Oh wow!
On Sunday and Monday morning we were running again. I made 11 passes with that engine, and it was still running when I left, which is kind of against my philosophy. You leave with running, you didn't run it hard.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Leave everything on the table.